Hey, Hillside. I just wanted to share a few things that were some thoughts I had while Jeff Young was with us on Sunday speaking. If you haven't heard that message, go back, watch the video, or listen to the podcast. It's been uploaded. It was really good. And he just talks about identity and knowing who you are in Christ. And then consequently, when you know who you are in Christ, you know who you aren't. And you're not trying to fill in roles that are not yours. And I had talked recently with my dad about this kind of idea of people looking for approval from others and needing like a following, and that gratification you get when people are following after you, or you feel like you have that power, that feedback, or people are looking to you for leadership, power, whatever it is. And, we talked a lot, and unfortunately there's a lot of people in ministry that, or you see some pastors, some of the big visual ones or social media ones that it seems like are after that, just for that, like they want that following and they clearly enjoy being on the platform and things. And unfortunately, some of those end up being the ones that you see negative publicity about, or scandals and things, right? And because if they're after that, then they're susceptible to these failings, right? Because the enemy has it in. And I even think, when I got started in college and residence life, I definitely enjoyed that, having that authority or being in that role as like the leader on the floor of, I was older and had all these freshmen, and so they look up to you and they want to be around you and hang out with you, and you know the ropes, and so you're like cool, right? And I totally fed off of that. And then even I think somewhat, I matured a little, but also even when I got first involved in youth ministry as a volunteer at a church in California, I definitely enjoyed having that, that group, and the gratification you get when they think you're cool, they look up to you and all that stuff. But as I've matured more, it's totally like I don't need that feedback from, a teenager, a 14-year-old to think I'm cool or to be secure in myself. Because I know who I am and who I'm not. I don't have to look for others for it, because I know that I'm following after God, and that's the only thing that matters, right? So I'm no longer concerned about if they like me or think I'm cool. All I'm concerned about is that they respect me enough to listen to me as I speak truth and show them God's love, right? And I'm also very grateful that I ended up in a church with a pastor who does not believe in fitting square pegs into round holes. He does not believe into putting you, even within the church, into a spot that is not who God made you to be, right? Who you aren't. He is all about, when I got here, he said, there's a few things I see we have a need here, and outside of that, it's what God made you to be and what he's made you passionate about, and wants you to go after that, right? And so I've found that, and that carries over from the leadership of our church into our church body as well. We don't believe in putting people into serving roles, into, making them be not who God created them to be. Instead, saying, what are the gifts he made you with, and who did he make you to be, and let's encourage you towards being that person. And so I love that about our church and our church body. And so if that's you and you're like, hey, I want to figure out more who God made me to be, because I feel like I've been, fitting into roles and looking for approval maybe from other places or whatever it may be. Which reminds me, Paul wrote to the Galatians. He is saying they kind of fell astray believing other gospels, and he's telling them, if you hear another gospel that's not the one I preach to you, even if it's from me or anywhere it comes from, right, don't believe it, because if I do, he's basically saying that would be man's gospel, not God's gospel. And am I seeking the approval of man or of God? He said, if I'm trying to please man, I wouldn't be a servant of Christ. So that just, we're looking for approval, but knowing only for approval of God and knowing who he made us to be. But if you're wanting to explore more of who that is, who God made you to be, and how to serve and minister and what those strengths are, I'm sure myself or Chris or any of our elders would be happy to talk with you and help you along in figuring that out. But that's what I want to share with you today. You at this church, you do not have to be a square peg in a round hole or a round peg in a square hole. However I said it, I don't remember. But we want you to figure out who you are in the unique way that God made you to be and walk in that. And we'll see you next time, Hillside.